Hello, welcome. My name is Kwabena and Marie. Subscribe to this channel. I have a lot of content on entrepreneurship, on finance, on personal development, on African dignity, a lot of stuff for people who want to take charge of their life. So you may also share it with people you think will need this kind of content, those who have some kind of interest in entrepreneurship. So today I want to share with you how to build your team as an entrepreneur, how to pick and build your team as an entrepreneur. A lot of the times when you talk to most entrepreneurs, one of the most difficulties that they have to have is how they deal with the people they work with, how they are able to develop people, how they're able to build the right kind of team. That your ability to win, or your being able to win with your journey as an entrepreneur, making it more enjoyable and less stressful. A lot of it has to do with the kind of people that you're able to pick and work with, the kind of team that you're able to develop. If you don't have that skill, you've got to develop that if you want to build anything with less stress, and if you want to develop anything beyond just yourself, or the resources that you have, or just your intelligence, or just your money that you have. The difference between a small business and a big business is the ability to work with a lot of talent across board, and the ability to build something beyond themselves, and it has to do with the entrepreneur himself. So in our culture, most people would want to work for themselves. Most people would want to work for themselves. So if you build anything that you employ a Ghanaian, you are going to do extra for you to have them work with you for a while. So your ability to work with them is going to be so much on how you are able to develop a concept, a training manual, how you're able to build a culture that encourages them to work with you. So you have to start with the thinking that you can't do everything by yourself, and therefore you have to work with people. You have to pick the right kind of people. You have to develop the right kind of people. You are going to be disappointed a lot of the times, because the primary psyche is that they are working for you so that you become successful, and they will not become successful. That's the primary cultural psyche that we have with working with our own kind of businesses. When they work with the multinationals, when they work with big businesses, they don't have that kind of thinking. They think that the prestige, the fact that their company's name is known is okay for them. The family, the friends, the people know that you work with this company. That itself is social equity. So a lot of the times it's good for them that way. If your business is not known, if it's small, they think that they are making you successful, and therefore you have to develop a whole different content within your culture, so that you can get people who work productively, selflessly, for you to also have a business that will grow. And what you have to also know is that a lot of them are going to disappoint you, whether it's good or they're not good. They are going to disappoint you a lot of the times. But that should not make you give up. The fact that you employ somebody and they stole money from you, or they run away, or they came to cause a lot of damages, does not mean that you have to give up on people. You cannot give up on people as an entrepreneur. If you have to test 1,000 to get one right, you have got to do it, because this scale is so imperative. It's so important to you surviving and being able to build something beyond yourself. If you're not able to do that, you're going to struggle with your business. So the disappointment, welcome them. You shouldn't be shocked. You should actually be shocked when you are not disappointed. So you have to have that, and you have to also have a good heart. How you handle it, people in our community, in our culture, it's not just the structure and the regiment. They relate better with you when you behave like a human being, when your heart is good. At the same time, when your heart is good, they will take that as weakness. A lot of our people will take that as weakness. When you're good, when you're honest, when you treat them with respect, when you involve them, they think that you don't know what you're doing, and that you are somebody that they can easily trick, that you are somebody that they can easily push over. That is the understanding that we have. You have to find a way to make sure to make them understand that you are treating them with respect, because that's what they need, and that does not mean that you are weak. That does not mean that you're fragile. That does not mean that you don't know what you're doing, because a lot of the times when you even pick their minds, they even think that you don't know. That's why you are involving them. Most people are not used to respect and involvement. in the business circle. So that's why a lot of business people, a lot of entrepreneurs are so bossy and so they are power drunk that they don't want anybody at all. They don't want to ask their subordinates anything. And yet that is what is responsible for a culture where people don't give their best and people just live anyhow, and people are there grumbling and talking badly about the business, because it's not a culture that's been built to harness the best of people. So you have to also understand that you have to build a team that is more productive. A lot of our people like fun and the religiosity, the entertainment, the funerals, the church. We like those things more than getting results. So you send them to go and do something for you. For them to even give you feedback, it takes a lot of time. So you have to build a culture where they will go and come back to give you a report, where they will come into work and the work is something that they don't feel like they are being punished. You know, so they put in a lot of the times. They don't come to work late and they don't care. You have to demand these things, and yet you have to do these things with the mind that these people are easily offended, and easily disappointed, and highly sensitive. That's the Ghanaian culture at the moment. So you have to find a way to work with that. And on money, a lot of them, if they are not trained well, will steal. If they have access to the money and if they have access to the product, and yet that's not the psyche that you have to have as an entrepreneur. You still have to have them believe that you trust them. You have to have them to believe that you trust them, and you respect their sense of judgment on money. Even though a lot of the time, ordinarily, when they come and they have not been trained, that's the first thing that they're going to do, because the culture requires that. Hey, now that you have this work that you're doing, make sure you build a house, or make sure you buy a car, make sure this is God who has opened this door for you. They don't tell them to be straightforward with the business. They don't tell them to be honest with you. That's not how people are taught. They think that that's an opportunity for them to get money. And so if they have to take the money for the business to die, they don't care. And don't be swayed by this, the open Bible and pray. No. Bible and money, they don't meet. Values, a person's values are very critical to them being honest with you and being truthful. And you have to require that in your environment, in your culture. Work with them with that sense of respect, with that sense of pride. Always involve them and let them know that they can be there so far as they want to be there, but they cannot be there and be lazy. Sometimes those who don't want to be there, who are talking badly about the business, who don't respect you, you have to let them go, so that those who want to be there will be happy to be there. If you're able to get 20% efficiency, you have done really, really well. But you know that without you building this skill, you don't have a business. Without you building this skill, you don't have a business. So my name is Obedako. I'm talking about how you can build your team. You need that. Every business must have a team. Every entrepreneur must learn how to work with people. Human beings are the most complex component of the business structure. And yet, without you being able to manage them, because they are human beings, they have their choices, they have their will, they have their emotions. If you're not able to build this, you'll be so much frustrated. You'll be so much frustrated. So thank you very much. Subscribe to this channel. Share the channel with people who you think would want to have something like that. And thank you very much for watching.